For our next couple macros, we're actually going to be using the Action Catalog Task Pane. So let's go into Create and take a look at this. I'm going to click on Macro. So we've done the left drag technique. We've also selected commands through the list arrow here. And now we're going to be using the Action Catalog, which is over on the right-hand side. Now, if for some reason yours does not display, this button is a toggle, and it displays and hides the Action Catalog. And this does have all of the commands in it. It has kind of a nifty little search feature. And if you know what type of command that you want, it does come in rather handy. So if we want to create a more generic macro that could be used in multiple forms, we can simply have it go to a particular field and then run the menu command. So what we're going to do is have it go to the home phone field and then execute the find command. So we're going to key in go to, because we're going to go to a control. So let's double click on that. And the control name is hphone. The control name is the name of the field, the name of the field in the table. So it's very important that you spell it correctly or your macro won't work. So at this point, we have it going to the home phone field. Okay, and once it's at the field, then we want it to run a menu command. Okay, we want it to run the find command. So we're going to key in run. And then you'll notice that as we key in, it's limiting the actions to those that involve running commands. And we want it to run a menu command. So we're going to double click on it. Okay, which menu command do we want it to run? We're going to choose the find command from the list. So it's going to go to home phone and it's going to execute the find command. Now the only problem with this is that there's no way to test it unless we go into a form and create a button, because we're not telling it what form to open. Okay, we've made this purposefully generic so that we could put it in multiple forms. But you know, the price to that is that there's no way to test it until you actually add a button to a form. We're going to be adding some buttons later. So for right now, we're just going to save this without testing it. And we're going to call it hphone find. And then we're going to close it. Now we're going to create another macro using that action catalog. And this one we will be able to test. So we're going to go to create and macro. And let's get rid of run. What we're going to do is create a macro that will close the database and save all of the open files or objects. So we want one that will quit, basically quit the system. And you'll notice that quit access displays. Now, if you didn't know to use the keyword quit, you can see we have categories of actions, and anything that's going to infect the entire database would be a system command. Okay, and you can see that's where the quit access is. So let's double click on that. And you can see by default, it's automatically going to save anything that has been changed. And that is what we want. Okay, and this is the entire macro. So we're going to save it, and we're going to call it exit rsr db. And then let's close this. And we can test this one just by double clicking. And it is going to exit out of this database. So let's go ahead and double click. And boom, we're out of the database. And we can see it here. So I'm going to double click and go right back in.